guys! Hey guys, Mishka here. Alright, so you made it to level 30. You want to go do shard dungeons and like a whole bunch of high level content. First off, congratulations! You made it! Alright, so let's talk about some advanced techniques for how to deal with harder content. Whenever you're doing dungeons and shards and raids and whatnot, when it comes to the trash mobs, there's a couple things you want to do. And the most important, in my opinion, is target prioritization. And what I mean by that is there are some enemies who are inherently more dangerous than others. So I picked the crypt because I've got a good variety of enemies. And I'm going to be running as a paladin just so that I stay alive while I describe things. I'm also going to turn in-game audio down a bit so that doesn't override me. So we're going to go in different groups and talk about who we would target and why. So in this first group here, we've got 2 non-elite melees and a non-elite caster. The caster takes priority. And why? Because the caster can poison. When you're not doing a sharded dungeon, or when you're on a low-level shard up to like level 6 or 7, it doesn't really hurt that much. But this guy can bolt, he can poison, and he can heal. That takes priority, because once you get to like shard 15s, that poison will tick like twice, and then you're dead. So what you want to do is you want to go through, you want to kill that caster as fast as possible. Usually, the tank will take the 2 melees, and the tank doesn't even worry about the caster. That's up to everybody else to deal with. So the DPS will focus on the caster. If you cast a poison, the mage will decurse or the healer will decurse. And you just focus on burning that guy. You don't want aggro on the tank with the caster because he's shooting bolts at the caster, and that can suck. Some tanks are okay with it. I try to keep it to where they don't have to worry about it. So we come over here. We have an elite floater boy, a staff caster, and a non-elite melee. Again, priority goes to the floater because of poison, especially with an elite. That poison hurts a lot more. The staff caster, he'll do his little interrupt where he just sits there with his staff held out and he heals himself. That means that he's not participating in combat. He's just sitting there taking himself out of the equation, so you don't even have to worry about it. So you're going to focus the flyer, get rid of all that poison first, get rid of those bolts, then focus on the caster since he's got bolts as well, and last, the non-elite melee. The non-elite melees pretty much always are last because they're not really a threat. Over here, you've got 2 elites. You've got an elite melee and elite caster. This caster can link shield and shoot bolts, so the caster takes priority. With him link shielding the enemy, that means that neither of them can take damage. That is awful, so get rid of that. Don't let that happen for an extended amount of time. Take out that caster as fast as you can, and then worry about the melee. And again, the tank will take the melee. Everybody else deals with the caster. We're going to skip ahead a bit. Oop, I pulled aggro. Oh well. This group up here, there are 2 ways to do it. You can either focus the Colossus first or focus the Colossus last. Really what you're going to want to do is communicate with your tank. Some tanks like it if you get rid of the elite first because the elite can really hurt. And you don't want to hurt. Those guys can take out a tank fast. Some people like it if you take out the 2 mini guys first. I don't know. I prefer taking out the Colossus first, personally. But again, communicate with your tank. See what they prefer, because different tanks like different things. This guy's not in a group, so it should be perfectly clear who you should target. And that guy's not in a group, so same thing. You should figure out who to target first in this group of 1. I'll give you a hint. It's the 1. Moving right along, we're going to come up to the boss. And just like the guys that were by themselves, pretty simple. Focus the boss. He's the only one there. We're going to take Mishka's shortcut here. Here we go. All right, over here, we got a big old group. Right? We got 1 elite melee, 2 non-elite melees, and 2 casters. Again, priority goes to the casters. You're going to see this a lot. Priority always goes to the casters. Almost. There's a few exceptions. So yeah, kill the link shielders because they link shield and they bolt, and then focus on the elite and the 2 melee guys. Once you get the casters down, it's pretty much the same group as down there, but the elite doesn't smash, so he doesn't hurt as much. So yeah, communicate with your tank. Oh well. Over here, you've got elite floaty boy, elite staff boy, and 2 non-elite melees. As always, focus the flyer because he's doing bolts, he can cure, and there it is, that godforsaken poison. That poison sucks. So get rid of the poison guy first, then get rid of the staff because he's going to be shooting bolts out, and then you can worry about the melees. I'm going to come on over here. We got this group of 7 non-elites. I kind of feel like taking this group right now just because they're fun to take on. They're not giving me enough pips. Never mind, it's not worth it. 2 casters. They're the same one, so it doesn't matter what you take first there. In this group, you've got the staff link shielder. You've got 2 of them, a non-elite melee, and a floater boy. This floater boy does not do poison, so he's not really too much of a threat. He shoots bolts, but he doesn't poison anybody. So here, you would focus on the 2 casters because they can link shield. And link shielding sucks because you can't damage them, you can't damage their allies. So focus on that first. And then the last group here in the crypt that you got to worry about is this group here. You're going to focus on the caster, right? Again, the tank will take care of these 2 guys. You focus on the caster because otherwise they're going to have to keep kiting to avoid the bolts. They're going to have to kite to avoid the smash. There's just a lot of kiting, and that's way too much work for most tanks to deal with. So take the caster, knock him out, and then deal with the Colossus and then the small guy. Now that's fine and dandy for like the crypt and you know, some other dungeons, but let's go over to the wastelands. I think that's the wrong rune. I think it's this one. And we're gonna go take a look at the mines because there's another couple enemies that we need to take a look at and figure out how to deal with. So we're gonna go to Old Growth and switch to Paladin so we can get there faster with less aggro. And we're going to hammer lasso to get there faster because downtime in videos is never a good idea. Zoink. And hammer lasso. And zoink. Vroom. LOL hammer, go brrr. And here we are at the mines. All right, so in the mines, there's a couple more different types of enemies that we're going to look at. Mainly pistolers and shadow markers. All right, we're in the mines. So first group we got here are 2 casters. These guys right here, the Marksman Scavs. Those guys suck. They usually take priority. The only exception is if you get a pistoler scav. Now, pistoler scavs are a little odd. They cannot shoot up or down elevation. Pistoler scavs always take priority because I don't know how they're balanced, but they can one-shot you in high-level shards. They can like 2-shot tanks, so it's stupid. So what you're going to want to do is after you get rid of this group here, and pull back. Oh, I thought that was going to work. Oh well. Once you get rid of these guys, there we go. Come on over this way. Right, so they shoot fireballs, which can do a bit of damage. I'm just going to soak those. And then after this set of fireballs, they're going to do Shadow Mark, which is basically a poison or an affliction, if you will, on the player. So you see I'm taking that damage over time there. And that can quickly eat away at you if you're on a high-level shard. So yeah, get rid of those guys fast. And then the pistolers. God, those pistolers, they suck. I'll pull aggro on them. And if I go up this hill here, you're going to notice that those bullets don't quite reach me, or they're going to go over my head. But all in all, they don't hit you if you're on elevation. So that's a very, very important thing to note. So yeah, if you kill these Marksman Scavs, kill the pistoler, then the Scav Knight, then the Assassin. You're going to do Scav Knight first because he's got a smash and a heal, which means he's a lot more dangerous. Basically, if you've got a non-elite melee mob that doesn't have any special attacks, leave him for last. This group here, again, pistolers suck, so hop to the high ground, kill the pistoler, then focus on the melees. We have an elite caster. Oh, I died. Oh well. We'll just go through here. It's faster anyway. Right, forgot to throw it further down. There we go. All right, so yeah, over here we've got that elite caster and the elite melee. As always, focus the elite caster. Casters are always dangerous. This group, you've got a caster, a pistoler, and a melee. Typically, you're going to stand over by those crates. Well, I already pulled aggro, so I can show you anyway. If you stand up on this hill up here, the pistoler can't hit you. Fireballs can. So kill the pistoler, dodge the fireballs, then kill the marksman, and then the tank will have the assassin scav, so you don't have to worry about that. Some people prefer to take out the marksman first, since the pistoler can't hit them. That's up to you. Moving right along. Over here, we've got this godforsaken group that sometimes spawns half of them in the wall, or the whole group in the wall, depending on how lucky you are. Kill whichever one is out here. If it's the pistoler, again, you can hop down here and shoot him, and he can't hit you because you've got elevation. If they're both there, typically tank will take aggro of the melee, DPS will take aggro of the pistoler, and DPS will chill down here. See how he's shooting at the ground? He can't hit me. Right? There's a load poison. Notice that I'm not poisoned because he can't hit me. This guy can, on the other hand. That guy's by himself, so don't worry about him. Over here, this is a painful group. Typically, you pull the Scav Knight away from the others because he's in his own group. And then with these guys, you can polymorph the pistoler and then take on the marksman and then the melees and then the pistoler. Or you can just burn the pistoler right out and then the marksman and then the melees. But as always, leave the melees for last. They're worthless. This group over here, just like that other group in the crypt, you just take them all at once, because why not? These guys, you're going to have 3 non-elite melees. Kill the smasher first, because he smashes and heals. And over here, look at that. You've got 1 pistoler, 2 casters, and a melee. Who are we going to leave for last? You guessed it, the melee. Kill the pistoler, and then the Marksman Scavs. If you stand up here, the pistoler typically can't hit you, so you would focus on the marksmans. However, your tank feels like doing it. But that's pretty much target prioritization in a nutshell. Same thing goes for the airship when you got the pistolers and the mages and everything. Usually what it comes down to is poisoners, bolts and shields, elites, melee. That's pretty much how it goes. If they can poison you, get rid of them, because that sucks. If they can shield their enemies, get rid of them. That sucks. I don't think there are any cases where you have both of those in the same group, so those take priority. And then focus on, basically just ranged mobs always go first, and then leave the non-elite melees for last. As long as you do that, you should be fine. But as always, if you've got a more experienced group, communicate with them. Communication is key. Always talk to your tank and healer. Be like, hey, who do you guys want us to focus first? They should have a good idea. If they don't have an idea, it's typically a good idea to follow that formula. Ranged, elites, then melee. So that's it. It's kind of a concept video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, as always, leave them in the comments below. Or, yeah, that's it. Happy hunting.